everyone. Thanks for joining me tonight. We are working on our little bee butterfly here tonight. So thanks again for being here. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for beginners. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. And it's a time that we can relax and craft together. So it may look a little bit different tonight. I am on location at my parents' house. We just got here about an hour and a half or so ago. And we'll be stitching this little guy, finishing it up here for the next couple days here. So let's get our little butterfly in the hoop again. Last night we got his face in, we got his little antenna in, and we started outlining the wings, and we're gonna finish that first tonight, just the outline. And I'm hoping we can do the other stitches. So we have the lazy daisy stitch here, and also the French knot we'll be working on tonight. So all right, getting that just in the hoop. I took it out of the hoop to travel, and really you should take it out of the hoop when you're not working on it, so it won't like crease, make that like circle crease where the hoop is. It'll just kind of relax a little. I suppose I could outline the letter B's right away too, but I think I'm gonna stick with the butterfly for now. I'm kind of excited about him. So thanks again for coming tonight here. All right, okay. We left off, I was going to outline these guys, and we're doing that with that lilac season, that purple. All right, let me grab some of that fresh piece, new thing of floss here, new skein. Ooh, right before I came on tonight, I got to see Chad Kitty. He was sitting at the door. Oh, thanks, Grace. Grace says, "Hi, Alyssa. Your butterfly looks so pretty. I love how it's turning out." So just as a review, we actually color tinted this butterfly. So you can see that it has a little extra color in the wings, a little extra color in the body, and these letter B's are filled in. We actually colored it in with colored pencil very lightly. So we added layers and layers of colored pencil lightly. And then we pressed it to get the wax out of the colored pencil, which basically kind of almost dyes it, I suppose, and dyes the fabric. And now we are stitching on top of it. So it's like a nice little bit of color in there. Oh yeah, we'll have piles of leftover thread for sure. Oh, exactly. So, oops, I hit the phones. So next week is our embroidery of the month is what we're going to be working on. And yeah, any excess floss, that's a great point, Robin. Any excess floss from that project should just get stuck right in the floss. Like here's my set of 23 colors here of floss, and obviously it's looking like a big hot mess already. But yeah, I can just add the leftovers from the embroidery of the month floss to this. That's smart. Yep, that's good. Throughout the year, we're gonna have an embroidery of the month every month, and so we can just keep adding to our floss collection for this. That way, that makes sense. Great idea. All right, I'm just lining up my floss ends here. And Chad Kitty was huge. He's just such a big kitty, and he's an outdoor cat, and I'm convinced that he is like a goldfish that just grows to the size of the container he's in, and he's outside, so he's just getting bigger and bigger. It's also winter, so he's all fluffed up. Okay, so I'm gonna weave in the backs of these stitches, I think, and we'll come around this way, and I think I'll probably travel along the base of the tail and then come back up this way. Theoretically, I could get some of these French knots that are the same color along the way, but I haven't really made a decision on that yet, so I'm just gonna stick with the back stitch, and then I think we'll do these lazy daisy stitches. So if you look closely, you can see the little flowers on here in pencil. I'll be stitching those. So a couple different stitches tonight. But first I'm going to finish up the back stitch on the outlines of these wings. That'll just make me feel like I got a lot done. We'll have the full picture of the butterfly, like the full outline of the butterfly then. That's why I had to finish the face yesterday too. It was like, oh, it just looks too weird without the face. I need the face on. All right, let's start with the back stitch here. I'm excited to see what the purple wings look like with the purple floss. Ooh, this is a lot more pale than our pink. Oh, I think it'll look good together still though. It's all an experiment. It was actually kind of a warm day again in the 30s is the warm day. And then I'm hearing like on the radio that the Super Bowl in February might have a heat advisory. Like it might be 90 degrees, like 90 plus degrees on Sunday in like, I don't know, Southern California or wherever they're doing the Super Bowl. I have no idea. But crazy town, that's so warm. Like I said, to me, like these 30s and 40s are the heat wave. Oh, this is pretty. This is gonna blend right in. I think I already have like cat hair all over this embroidery. I saw the cat for 3 minutes and I'm already getting cat hair on things. All right, I like this purple. This is looking cute. Fun. Man, that car ride is something else though, but way, way, way easier than flying. And man, it's just 1 hour too long though. Ooh, I missed, shoot, I missed, oh, there we go. Oh, Amy says, yep, it's hot here right now. Ugh, yep. You're in the southern Cali area. That's just amazing to me. Although I bet you could do like a beautiful garden already and all that. That always seems like kind of magical. These people that can do a winter garden. Like, oh, we're starting the winter garden. That's neato. All right, there we go. I think that purple frames the purple that we colored in here really, really well. The color matches super well. It's a hair darker, which is nice because the stitching still pops, but I don't know. I think it looks super good with that purple purple bottom wing color that we did. So I'm just kind of going around the bottom here so it doesn't look like I'm jumping across the body, so you won't see a line on the other side. I'm just following the stitches. Although we do have like all this, we colored it in here, so maybe you wouldn't see the jumping across as well, but I don't know. I like not being able to see all those jumps on the back. We'll definitely have enough thread to finish this bottom wing, but I think I think I am going to wait to stitch the letter B's. I want to kind of get going on his wings a little bit. So I hope everyone had a lovely day. It was kind of windy and gloomy a bit, but like I said, it was much warmer than usual, so it's been kind of nice. Ugh, I didn't get my walk in though today, so this is like the first day that we didn't do our walk since January 1st. And we talked about that a little bit, like how are we gonna keep up our streaks on when we're like not at home and stuff. And I don't know, we're gonna have to go for a double walk tomorrow. I think that's that's the plan. It's potentially too icy and stuff, I think, to go tonight. I need to see where I'm walking. All right, we have tons extra. This is great. So I might actually keep going with this thread since it's still on the needle, and I might actually do some of the French knots that are in here right away until I run out of floss. All right, so here's my last stitch. So I'm just presuming that I'm going to put some purple French knots in there, but just the outline is just so sweet. I do think that just the slight coloring in, it adds a lot to it. Like it's subtle still, but it's just an extra little bit of cuteness. I'm liking it. Okay, so I've used a different color on the bottom than in my original design here. So you can see the difference. I used kind of a pinkier pink here and then the purple down here. Oh, thanks, Barbara. So I think maybe wherever there's one of those pink dots, those dark pink dots, maybe that's where I'll do the purple instead, at least in these bottom purple ones. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to, where these, there's 4 on this side, that might be, I might use up my floss at that point. So let's just do those ones. So how I like doing French knots is I come up on one side of my dot. I'm not coming up right in the center of the dot. So this is the dot that I'm going to be doing right there. So I'm coming up on one side of it, and then I like setting it down. It's nice if you have a table or just setting it in your lap. Then I'm holding the thread with my left hand here. I'm gonna point the needle towards my fingers, towards my other hand here, and I'm gonna wrap around that thread. Hold those loops in place, and now I'm gonna point back towards my fabric, and I'm gonna go on the other side of that dot, so not in the same hole. When my needle's about halfway through, I'm gonna let go, and I'm gonna pull those loops tight against the needle and the fabric. And then I'm just gonna hold those loops with my thumb as I just pull through slowly. And there we go. So there's my little French knot. I can definitely go over that again, but I think right now I'm gonna just try and get through these little dots. Do I have enough to go to the other side again? I might. So I'm gonna go here. Actually, I might not have enough. I'm just holding those loops down, and this guy down here. Oh, this is gonna be so cute with these little extra dots. Oh, I make it so easy. I mean, we'll go over the French knot again. I'm gonna just use, so here's just like what it looks like when I'm doing it, but I kind of wanna do the lazy daisy stitches first, because all the lazy daisy stitches I'm gonna put a French knot in the middle. But I didn't wanna waste this thread when I could just do a few French knots here. So, but I'll go over this a little bit more later, and I might go over like the couple things you might be doing wrong with the French knot. We'll do that whole deal. All right, fun. And then let's see. Oh, there's a whole pile of them on the other side, so I'm probably not gonna have enough floss for all that, but I probably could do like one maybe. I'm gonna go down and back to the other side here. Just kind of a silly way of doing it, but I think it's fine. Okay, and we got this guy here. Oh yeah, I'm probably only gonna be able to do 2 on this side, which is fine. That's 2 I didn't have done before. And still gotta use the same thread. So right here, and let's get this one here, and then I'll weave in the end. French knots are, I think, a little tough when I don't have much thread left, so let's call it at this one. There we go, but it's starting to look fun. It's definitely adding some texture to the area. All right, so I'm gonna weave in the end, just like normal. Ooh, no! Lost the thread. Oh, I didn't catch them all. There we are. One more time through. It's cute from the back too, just the thread colors. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the Lazy Daisies here. So we have 3 of them in the outside color, and then 3 are this lighter pink, and we haven't used the lighter pink yet. So here's the lighter pink, and ooh, this is not a lot of thread. Do we have another pink cut? No, we don't. So I'm probably gonna have to get more of the dark pink going too, but we might be able to. Yeah, this is kind of short. I think I might just save this for later. I'm sure we'll use it in another design, but I know that Lazy Daisies take up a lot of floss, so I'm gonna just grab a fresh batch here. So let's do the dark ones first, and then we'll go back and do the light ones. So I'm getting my 24 inches or so. Let's separate it into the 3 strands again. All right, 1, 2. I'll have to take a photo of Chad Kitty while I'm here, because that's kind of the embroidery of the month is, I guess, loosely based around him. Actually, it was from back when he was way littler than what he is now. He's much like rounder faced now. But again, I think it's just because it's mostly because it's winter out, so he's got all the floofs on. All right, there we are. Thread our needle here, and we'll get all set up. So all right, we'll start with maybe this top one here. Oh, maybe we'll get like the French knots along the way. Oh, but then there's this French knot too. Maybe I'll just stick with the flowers. Or maybe we'll go like here, French knot here. I suppose I could do this French knot already. Usually I like doing the French knots, when I do a French knot in the middle of a Lazy Daisy stitch, I usually like doing the French knot last. But maybe I'll just throw it in here since I have the thread out. And then I'll just have to be careful to stay out of its way when I'm doing the Lazy Daisy stitches later, but I think that's fine. All right, I'm gonna just work my way from right to left here. So, okay, let's weave in the end. I guess I'm not too worried about jumping around in this wing. Just because, you know, we're gonna have to jump around to get to all the French knots and everything. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, so for a Lazy Daisy stitch, I'm gonna start in the center, and you can start a little off of the center too, but I think for the first one, I'll start in the center and everything will end up in the center, I think. Yeah, let's do it that way. So I'm gonna come right up in the center, and the first loop I'm gonna make is this lowest one here. You can start with any of the loops. So let's look close at this again. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see in light pencil, I got a pile of different loops here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like I have 7 loops. So I'm gonna start with this first one here. So I'm gonna I came up in the middle, and I'm actually gonna go back down in the middle. And you can see I kind of have an arc going in the same direction as the loop in the pattern. So I'm gonna do the lowermost one. So I'm actually gonna like hold the thread in place, and I'm gonna pull just a little bit, and then I'm gonna come back up at like the lowest point of that loop. So my needle's right here, and you can see that I'm pulling the needle up in the middle of this circle. That's the key for this. So now I'm gonna pull through. I'm still in the middle of that loop, and once I get towards the end, my thread is actually stopping the loop from going back into the fabric, and that's what we want. And I'm not pulling it too tight. If I pull this tighter, it'll just look like two stitches next to each other. But if I leave it a little loose or a little lazy for this lazy daisy, then it'll look like this teardrop shape. And now we need to secure that down, because if I don't, it's just kind of, it'll flop up along the thread there. I don't want that. So I'm gonna just go right on the other side of that loop and tack it down with a tiny, tiny stitch. There we go. And that's our first stitch of the lazy daisy stitch. So this is also called a single chain stitch. A lazy daisy stitch is just like a whole pile of single chain stitches around a center point. So let's do the next one. I'm actually gonna, let's just rotate this whole thing as I go. I think that'll be easy. So I'm gonna make that loop again where it's kind of going the same shape as where I want the little lazy daisy stitch to end up. I'm gonna pull through a little. I came up through the center, and I'm going back down through the center, and then I'm coming up at the bottom of that loop, but within this circle that I made. And my thread is gonna catch that loop again. I'm gonna leave it lazy, and we're gonna tack them down just right on the other side of that stitch again. There we go, that's our second little one. I'm just gonna, you can shape them a little bit with your needle, and now I'm just gonna keep going around. So there's actually kind of quite a few petals on this guy, so he's gonna be like a very dense bunch of petals, which is kind of fun. So the amount of petals that you do doesn't really matter. Sometimes there'll be only a couple, or maybe these are, you'll see these as like just leaves on, like a pair of leaves on either side of a stem. So just however many you want. I'm just keeping going around that center. You don't have to come up in the exact same hole. I kind of like leaving like a little gap in the center sometimes, but I'm pretty much coming up in the same spot here. We're gonna put a French knot right in the middle of it, so that'll kind of cover the hole, or the little part that we've left open. Oh gosh, this is just uses so much thread, these lazy daisy stitches, so I might not actually get very far. Like I definitely won't get all of them done with just this one strand. 2 more to go. Oh, and just as I make it look so easy, it definitely takes practice. And if you want me to go slower or go through any of them again, I'm more than happy to do that. All right, there's that one, and one more hiding right in there. It's actually kind of cute, which is that far. Like I could see like a little stem coming out here, and then a little leaf. But we're just making the full circles. Okay, last one here. There we are. Fun. So now, I mean, like, this even pushes this kind of color tinting back even further, like from our brain, like, because now we're looking at all these dark pinks kind of popping, and this the pink that we colored in is looking more and more subtle and more like part of the piece, I think. When we just had the color on, I think it looked a little crazy, but now it's just kind of receding a little bit, the colored pencil. So I think that's kind of looks nice. All right. we do have all these other French knots in here. Should we do those and then come back to this? How much thread did that use? Oh yeah, we might have enough. So yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna do the rest of the French knots that are on this wing, and then we'll get over to this Lazy Daisy over here. So again, I don't especially like putting the French knot in the center of the Lazy Daisy before actually stitching the Lazy Daisy, but I think we might just do it anyway. This is gonna be in that lighter pink color, but I might just put the knot first and see how it goes. So all right, let's do another one of those French knots. So this guy right here. So here I'm gonna go slow through the French knot again. And once we finish these Lazy Daisies, I know we're doing French knots along the way, but once we finish those, I will go over how to do like the couple things you might be doing wrong with the French knot, and like how to correct that. So, but I'll go through my process again. So I'm coming up on one side of the dot. I'm not coming up right in the middle, just on one side. I'm starting on the one side and I'm ending up on the other side. So I have a little tiny bit of fabric in between. That'll keep it from, my knot from pulling through to the back. So, all right, setting it on a surface, it can be your lap. I'm holding it with my left hand, the thread from the fabric to my hand here, and I'm gonna point away from the fabric, point the needle away from the fabric and towards my, my hand, my left hand here. And I'm gonna just wrap around that thread that's right in the middle there. I'm gonna wrap around twice. And you can get a little loose. You don't have to hold it super tight here. You can let it be loose. Go around twice. And now I have these loops on my needle. I'm gonna hold those in place with my finger so they don't fall off the needle. And now I'm gonna point towards the fabric. So I was pointing away from the fabric. Now I'm gonna point back towards. And here's where I'm gonna go back into that, on the other side of that dot. So again, not in the same hole, but right on the other side of my dot. And I'm just putting in the fabric, or putting my needle in the fabric like halfway. And then I'm gonna let go. And let's pull those loops tight against the needle until they're tight against the needle and the fabric. So now they're all tightened right there. And now I'm gonna actually just let go and hold those loops in place with my finger. Not everyone does this, but I find it helpful to keep my loops from dangling all over the place. And then I'm going to pull slowly until I can feel that thread come all the way through. And there we go, our French knot. So I will go through the things you might be doing wrong for that, but first I think I'm gonna just get through these Lazy Daisies. So we're gonna do the French knots along the way, but there are so many French knots that we'll have time to practice. A little fuzzle here. Okay, so this is the one that's gonna be in the center of that light pink Lazy Daisy. I keep glancing back at my pattern here just to see which of these dark ones are for these French knots. Okay, then we got this one. Fun, I love all this texture on here. All right, now I'm gonna do the second Lazy Daisy, and then I do have one more French knot up here, but then I can weave in the end, I think. So, all right, let's do this Lazy Daisy. So I'm just picking a petal to start with. I'm just gonna do the one closest to me. That's pointing towards me. So let's make that arc go down in that same hole. Pull through a little, and then I'm gonna come back up at the bottom. And if you have to like lift up your loop and put it around your needle, that's fine too. Tack it down. So another way you can do this is the sewing method. So we've been doing the stabbing method where I pull up and go all the way straight down again. But the other way we can do this is I'm gonna come up, and then I'm not gonna make the loop this time. I'm gonna just come up, and then I'm gonna go back in the same hole, but I'm gonna come up in the same motion, So I'm in and out in the same motion. Now I'm gonna wrap my thread around the needle like that, and now I'll pull the rest of the way through. And that is another way to do these little lazy daisy. Oh, I'm in Wisconsin right now, Linda, but I'm usually in Minnesota. I'm visiting my parents, and they're in Wisconsin. All right, let's do that sewing method again. So I'm going to come up. I'm not going to worry about the loop right away. I'm just going to go back in the same hole, and then I'm going to come up in the same motion. That can be a little tricky. I'm going to go like halfway through with my needle, and then put my thread around. It actually works if you use either thread, so you don't have to worry too much about that. And pull through. I'm just going to tighten it a little. Felt like it got a little loose. There we go. And tack it down by just doing that tiny stitch on the other side. Gosh, I might run out of floss just on this lazy daisy. There we are. Oops, I almost pulled it through before putting the floss around. Three more. I just gotta keep rotating the hoop so it's the most comfortable for me. And two more. And then I'm hoping I get one French knot out of this thread yet. But it's gonna be close. We're using it up. And one more. This is kind of nice doing, when I don't have as much thread left, doing these lazy daisy stitches with the sewing method where I go in and out in the same motion. That's been kind of nice. Okay, last little tack. And then I gotta jump up which one? Okay, this guy right here is our last French knot on with this color on this wing, and I think I'm gonna weave in this end. And call this end done. We have a little bit left, but not enough to get to the other side, I don't think. So I'm just gonna weave it in. Call it good. Two. Three. All right, let's take a look. All right, well, we could continue with that color on this side, or we could get that other pink out. I think we might get that other pink out, because then we can finish this flower and then these two flowers, or we can do all of the other little French knots here. Yeah, maybe we just do the pink. Yeah, let's get the light pink out. And maybe here I'll show you, before we get too far into the French knots and everything with this, I'll show you the couple things you might be doing wrong with the French knot, and just how to change it. So I've done this demo before. I like showing how to do this every time we go through a French knot, just because I know it's a struggle sometimes to get the French knot just right. So we'll go through that quickly. I think I'll do it a little different than the usual though. I think I'm going to do the French knot demo right on French knots that are already here, but I'll have to pick all these out. So we'll start fresh, but then you know, I won't have like piles of extra holes or anything. Actually, I don't know if I like that idea. I think I might just do it to the side here. I don't know, we'll see. Let's just thread our deal here. Yeah, I'm gonna do this demo and I'm gonna take like pick them out right away. So I'm actually just gonna tie a knot on this side, and I'm gonna just go from the front to the back, and we'll pop up on some of these dots here. So all right, let's do some of the things you might be doing wrong on your French knot. So the first thing is, and you could be doing everything else right, but you might be doing 1, 2, or all of these 3 things. So I'm going to come up on this dot here. So the first thing you may be doing wrong, hold on, let me get this a little shorter. The first thing you might be doing wrong is when you hold your floss, you're pointing your needle towards the fabric instead of away from the fabric. So the first thing you want to do is point away from the fabric, kind of towards your left hand. If you go towards the fabric instead, and I'm wrapping around and I go into that spot, and I feel like I'm doing everything else right, I'm gonna pull the thread through, but if you'll end up with just a line. So this isn't a knot at all, it's just like one little short stitch. If you've done a French knot and it comes up as a short little stitch like that, it's because you were pointing your needle towards the fabric at the beginning instead of away from the fabric. You want to start away from your fabric towards your hand. So what that looks like again is I've got a little knot in the back here. Not quite a knot. Just a tangle. It wants to be a knot. There we are. So what it should look like, let's get all these fuzzles out of the way, is pointing away from your hand. So the wrong way is pointing towards the fabric. The right way is pointing away from the fabric towards your hand. So then you wrap around, and at this point you point it back towards the fabric. But the wrap happens when you're pointing away. And there we go. So see the difference? So that's the French knot. That's when it only ends up as a little stitch. All right, so the second thing you might be doing wrong is going in and out of the exact same hole. So I'm gonna try and exaggerate this. So let's just, I'm gonna open this up a little bit, but like, okay, so I'm coming up right in the middle of my dot. So this is the wrong way. You might be doing everything else correct, so like pointing towards your hand, making those loops. But what you don't want to do is go in the exact same hole. I know it's tempting to do that because you're coming, you know, it's just one dot, so you want to come up and down in the same dot. But if you actually go in the exact same dot, the same hole, you risk accidentally pulling your knot to the back. So if I just yank on this, there, it popped through to the back. And that is so annoying when that happens, because now I got this knot on the back here that's stuck. I'm not gonna be able to get that out. And you know, I got a little hole on the front now. So what I do instead is I come up on one side of that dot. So I'm not coming up right in the center. I'm on one side of it. I always start in the lower right hand side. Now I'm gonna, you know, do the rest of the French knot pointing towards my hand, wrapping around twice, and then pointing back towards the fabric. And this is where I go across that dot and I end up in the upper left. So I always start in the lower right and end up in the upper left. So you can see I'm not going in the same hole. I actually have quite a bit of fabric, not quite a bit, but like a few strands of the fabric in between where I came up and I'm going back down. And it's that little bit of fabric that's gonna make our stitch not get pulled to the back, unless you like really yank and then you're like tearing the fabric, but it's not gonna go to the back easily. So I do like that little barrier of fabric in between. So that might be the second thing you're doing. If your knots ever pop back to the back, that's the trick to solve that. Just have that little bit of fabric in between. And then the last thing that you might be doing wrong. You could be doing everything else right, but the last thing is not tightening these loops against the fabric or not holding them in place. So here I've left the loops kind of just dangling there, and I'm just gonna pull straight through. And there we go. You might end up with a French knot that just is like this floofy floof of like these extra little circles that are just popped up that you can kind of see from the side. They're just little bloops. So if you have any of these like floofy bloopy French knots, it could be because you're not holding your loops in place. So if you, at this point, you pull the loops tight. So now they're tight against the fabric, but still when they're tight against the fabric, you might still get those little like loose knots. So like even here, I feel like it's a little looser. You can still see the loose circles compared to my other French knots. So what I like doing is pulling them tight to the fabric and then also holding them in place. I know this is a weird extra step, but I like holding those loops so they don't get away in any sense, and then you can get those nice little French knots. Abby Cat, yes, my mom does do embroidery as well. She'll be doing the embroidery of the month with us, and yep, she does. I think she might, she was talking about maybe making a quilt out of all the embroidery of the month, so that'll be fun. But anyway, so there's those 3 things that you might be doing wrong with the French knots. So if you've done any of those things before, let me know. I'm gonna cut these all out now, and we'll get started on the real French knots here. I think I'm just gonna cut the backs out here. But I've definitely done all those things, and then when I realized, oh, those are the 3 things I'm doing wrong, it was like a little epiphany for me. Oop, that guy's still stuck. Ooh, that guy is too. Are you still connected? Oh, you got the little knot on the other side. Try not to cut all my other stitches. So it's leaving like a few little holes, but we're going to be going over those with more French knots now, so we're going to be good. All right, so let's get to it again. Let's maybe start, well, I don't know, let's just start at this bottom here. So these are going to be the light pink French knots. So I'm going to weave into the side of his body here again. One, two, and we'll get the real stitches in here. So tomorrow we will continue with just these French knots and the lazy daisy stitches if we don't get them all done tonight. Let's see, tomorrow's Thursday already. And then yeah, we'll see if we get done a day early, then I might get that tatting out again, just this time. We will start quilting these when we have extra days during the month, or during the week. So this one I'm doing right in the center of that lazy daisy stitch. So I just came up right in the center. We're gonna do our French knot like normal, and it's gonna be so cute. It's gonna just add a tiny little dot to the center of our lazy daisy stitch. So there, that is like the finish. You don't always have to do a knot in a lazy daisy stitch, but it does look extra cute, I think. So there we go. What else is pink? We got this guy down here. Yep. But yeah, I do want to start the quilt as you go process with these. We'll start that probably next month. All right, so let's do this lazy daisy now. So it's going to be a little tricky because I already put in that dark pink French knot, but I'm going to just kind of come up along the side of it. Go back down and typically, my best case scenario or my ideal land, I do like leaving the French knots to the end when I can, just because then I'm not, my thread isn't catching on any of them, because they are like raised off the surface, and I feel like my loops kind of catch on them sometimes, which is annoying. Like I don't want to hurt the French knots, like I want them to stay pretty, and I don't want things caught on them, and so I usually like leaving those to the end. But this time we're just going as the floss goes. I think there's 7 on each of these. My pencil lines are pretty light for these, but I can still see them just enough. Cute little light pink one. Right, like here, my thread's getting shorter, so I'm gonna put the needle up and then I'm gonna put the loop around the needle. If you gotta do that, that's fine too. I am hoping to get all the rest of these French knots though, we'll see. See if I can get all of them plus these lazy daisies. They both take up lots of thread as far as stitches go. That's okay. One more after this one. Cute. Sometimes I find it easy to hold it with my thumb to kind of get it away from, so it's not in the way of like my vision of seeing where to put the needle. And it actually is nice holding it down while I pull it through, because it helps the thread not pull through to the back. There, got this guy done. Cute. All right, let's see what else I need for the for French knots here. So this one, you can just see, like subtly see the swirls of colored pencil that we put in the background. So they're there. It's adding to it, I think, still, but it's not like super prominent anymore. One. This guy over here. I like these pinks together. And then we have like little green dots that will go in here yet too. Green little French knots. Oh, we got 3 more here yet. Sheesh. I got this guy down here, and then the one in the center of this flower, and then the one right at the tip, and I think we'll have just enough thread for all of those. This is the color that matches my nails. Whew, a lot of thread here, it's hard to poke through. There we go. All right, and last one on this side. There we go, and then I'm gonna weave in the end. All these other ones are gonna be green dots. Cute. One, 2, 3. Okay, looking cute. Let's see, we got 10 minutes or so left here. I think let's try doing a more light pink because there's two light pink ones on this side. So maybe I'll start at the top here and we'll do the Lazy Daisy light pinks and all the French knots along the way until we get to this one. We'll see how far the floss lasts. So we'll just do this. Whenever this last piece of floss is done, I think that's when we'll call it for the evening. But we got quite a ways tonight, I think. I think actually tomorrow will go pretty quick, so we might finish this up tomorrow and play around with another project or something maybe. I'd like to finish that tatting piece too. That'd be fun. So maybe tomorrow we can do that. I also have, oh man, I brought so many projects here. I don't know why. I'm clearly, maybe, I might not even work on any of the projects while I'm here, but I brought a pile of them. One of the other projects that would be kind of fun to do is my brother crocheted a hat that I've worn for a while, but it's about 2 rows too short. Like it could just use 2 more rows and then it would be like right over my ears. And I was thinking actually even of adding longer parts for the ears, but we could add on a couple of crocheted rows to that too. That might be kind of fun. But I'm kind of itching to get that tatted piece done. I kind of want to do that. All right, let's start with this Lazy Daisy stitch. And I think I'll do the sewing method again. That'll speed it up a little bit, especially when I have a lot of thread here. And this floss is all twisty already. All right, just gonna go around the circle here. Oh, I'm kind of like doing a hybrid here. I'm doing the sewing method, but I'm still kind of making that loop. I suppose I don't really have to make that loop when I'm doing the sewing method. Ooh, it's kind of hard to see my circle here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I just kind of drew this one funny. Yeah. In and out. Now I'll just go in right away. My hand's farther away from being able to hold that loop in place, so we'll just put the loop around after. All right, 3 more. I think I put them in weird spots. I put them in like different spots than what I drew. Oh well. That's okay. Yep, that one's kind of sprawling out there. All right, one more, and then we'll get a pile of these French knots. So I did bring all my library books here of like tatting stuff and bobbin lace. So maybe like Mom and I will probably go through them a little bit more tomorrow. We were looking through them a little bit tonight, but I'll bring those here too, so we can page through those a little bit once we get this guy done. Be kind of fun. I don't think I went to the library all through like COVID stuff since 2020. Like I had done my like you going online and checking out books online, and then they get delivered to the library, and I just pick them up, and that's like my favorite thing. But then that all got shut down, and then at that point I'm like, oh, I should just go through all our books, and there's lots of my own books that I haven't read or read in a while, so I started going through those instead of getting library books when they opened up again. So this is the first time back getting all these tatting books, and that was really fun. They actually, it was weird. I went there again today to pick up another book, but they have completely, like, you know, they had a little front area, you know, where you could talk to a librarian, and they had computers and stuff right up front, just like the help desk, basically, almost. They've completely drywalled over that and put a door in, so those are like the back offices now. So you can't talk to someone up there, but they do actually have a whole help desk in the center. But it was just goofy. I'm like, where'd that space go where they, you know, sort the books and everything? And it was just completely gone. Uh-oh. I think I did the wrong knot right there. Oh well. That one was supposed to be dark pink. And this one's supposed to be light pink. So I'm gonna just leave this one light pink, and this one I'll make dark pink later. Oh well. It'll still look fine. Alright, so I have this lazy daisy and then like one more French knot up here. Do I have enough thread for all that? I am not sure. Let's see. And then, yeah, tomorrow we'll do the dark pinks, and then we have all these guys down here yet to do too. So there's some dark pink down there. And then we have green French knots all over. Ah, and we've just still outlined this too. So might take the whole time tomorrow. But I don't foresee this going into Friday, or at least not very long into Friday. Which means if we hadn't coloring this in took a whole day. If we hadn't done that, we might have been done today, which means if there's other patterns like that in this ABC stitch along, then we'll have like 2 days sometimes to work on the quilt as you go process for this, which is great. Then we can get the actual quilt being made at the same time as finishing up the embroideries, and I'm excited about that. More on that will be coming up for sure. We might just have enough floss for all this again. All right, I think 3 more. It's fun, all these little decorative flowers on here. Oh, I'm probably tired because it's a big error. Not getting that French knot in the same spot. I don't know. Too many dots to look at on the pattern. Luckily, I don't think it's gonna look that different. We've already changed it up by coloring it in and using different colors and all that too, so I think we're good. All right, last lazy daisy stitch here. For the light pink, at least, we have one more flower over here with the dark pink that we'll do tomorrow. All right, and then one more French knot right here. Oh, we got a bunch down here too. Oh, but I was doing those in purple. Okay. Or was I? No, I was doing... Oh yeah, I want to do a bunch of light pink ones down here too. Eh, well, we'll get more light pink out tomorrow, I guess. But for now, this is good enough for the floss I have left. Yeah, we'll have to address those bottom wings tomorrow. All right, let's weave it in. One, I always have to count out loud. 2 and 3. I'm just trying to grab, again, as many different threads as the other passes as I can. And there we are. Ugh, I'm liking these colors so far. It's looking cuter and cuter. Courtney is asking, currently Celeste, sorry, do you ever not weave in your ends if you run out of floss? Sometimes I'll just weave it in twice instead of like 3 times. Or, you know, even if I just weave it in once, if I know I'm gonna put other stitches on top of it, that's enough. But if I really don't have that much floss left, I'm not gonna be able to tie it in a knot very easily. It is just gonna be easier still to weave in the end a little bit. So at worst, I'll weave in the end just once. And sometimes if I really don't have enough thread, then I have to turn it the opposite direction and thread with the eye of the needle first. So if you really don't have a lot of thread, if you weave in with the eye first, that can help with that. And yeah, at worst, I'll just go once in and hope, and then I'll on purpose with my next thread kind of go on top there. Oh, Robin says, tell your mom she has to get on here with you. I think she's watching it live upstairs right now. If Chad wasn't such an outdoor kitty, I'd bring in him to share, but he's not that type of cat. I don't think he can. He's not chill enough to share. But all right, here we go. There we are for the evening. Yeah, I think we'll finish this guy up tomorrow. These lazy daisies kind of take a little time and all the little French knots, so we only have 1 left. Piles of French knots everywhere, and then we'll just do a simple outline around these letter B's. I think it'll be cute. And I think we were gonna use, what were the colors we had? We're gonna use this kind of the tiger lily color around the letter B's. I think that'll still be cute. And then yeah, we gotta add some green French knots to here and some pinks and dark pinks and purples, all of it yet. So all right, you guys, so that is that for this evening. I'm not gonna flip the camera around how I have it set up now, so I'm just gonna wave goodbye right here, and I'll be back here again on location for Thursday and Friday. I'll be here again at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And we will finish up this little guy and maybe work on another little project on Friday. So have a lovely, lovely evening, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.